There is a base process associated with buying and selling property, and there are things that we need to consider in order to be able to do that. Whatever we buy the property for, and I'm going to assume a cosmetic renovation because they're simple to do the numbers on. They represent any add value project, whether it be renovation, subdivision, renovation with a subdivision, development, build, renovate, subdivide, build, don't renovate, subdivide, build multiple. They're all add value processes. And if we have a look at that, we can break the model, the process of understanding numbers down into a 7-step approach. Basically, whatever I buy it for, my stamp duties are going to cost around about 5%. And that's a broad conversation nationally. And in this case, it's about $15,000. In the case of the cosmetic renovation, we're going to look at a certain amount of hold costs. Now, hold costs are managed by way of how long am I holding the property for and what does it cost me for the period of time that I plan to hold it. Now, the primary expense that you incur while you're holding a property is the interest cost. And because we're doing an add value project, there's no rental income. So we have to wear that cost. And now, if we calculate at the moment what that may be, yeah, interest rates are averaging about 3.5%. Let's make it 3. Now, if it's 3% per annum, how long are we holding this property for? So generally speaking, we need to calculate a budget of time that we're going to play this particular deal within. And we calculate it from settlement to settlement. And if we look at that, we go, all right, when we get the keys and can finally open the door, the first thing we do is let the trades in to start demolition. We need to have planned our renovation before actually settlement occurs. So we open the door and the tradies walk in and then they leave. And how long is it going to take for them to do, in this case, a cosmetic reno? Now, if it's a subdivision, it's a different set of rules. If it's a build, it's a different set of rules. If it's a subdivision as a development, it's a different set of rules again, but you're getting the idea. So you settle, you get started. Now, in a cosmetic reno, I'm going to allow a 3-month window. So buy it, 3 months later, I've finished it. And the 3 months allows me, again, cosmetic, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, demolish some stuff, replace some stuff, make it, buy ugly, sell pretty. And 3 months is a fair and reasonable amount of time for people who are growing into the skills in this to have a crack at doing that. The fastest I've seen is 2 weeks. Brilliant. Opened the door, tradies walked in, tradies walked out, started to rebuild the next day. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And 2 weeks later, the reno was done and back on the market. It was just astounding and brilliant. But let's go for 3 months. After the 3 months, then there's a selling period for which you've got it on the market and you need to make a sale. Somebody needs to buy it from you. And I'd say a 6-week period is probably a sufficient amount of time to be budgeting for. 4-week auction campaign, a week to get ready, and just in case it doesn't sell, a week to sell after the event. So let's say 6 weeks. And then there is a settlement period from the time your purchaser has bought it to the time they start to pay you, that they settle on the account or settle on the property. And we'll budget for 42 days, 6 weeks. So if we've got 3 months, 6 weeks, and 6 weeks, we're budgeting for a 6-month settlement to settlement timeframe. And we need to cost that out in order to calculate holding costs. All right. Interest rates are 3% per annum, let's say. On the back of that, we split that into 2 because we're only holding it for 6 months, so it's about 1.5%. And I've budgeted here 4%. Why? Let's accommodate then within that 4%, we will cover power, rates, water, all the lights, etc., that we need to in order to see the deal through to completion for that 6 months because we're not getting a rental income. And we can incorporate some staging for making the sale, making the property look great for the sale in this budget as well. And we round that up to say 4%. So what we've got then is a buy price of 300, 4% as a budget for our holding costs, which means we've got a 12% or $12,000 expense we need to put aside as a budget item. There are reno costs. If we don't do a good enough job, then we won't be able to get the sale price we need in order to make a profit. If we do too good a job, meaning we overcapitalize it and we spent too much, and while it'll sell for a great price, we won't be able to recoup our funds and we may make a loss or no profit at all. So we've got to get the balance right for the amount that we budget for our reno, just like we need to do for a subdivision, just like we need to do for a development. And in this instance, cosmetic reno, buy ugly, make pretty, sell. We want to budget for 10% of the buy price. We're not doing this for love. We are not doing this to beautify the houses of Australia. We are not doing this as a community service. We are doing this to make money so that our ability to retire comfortably is improved. Our ability to retire sooner is improved. Our ability to create the deposits to buy the positive cash flow properties exists so that we can do so sooner. This is why we're renovating. To that end, then, we have to make a profit. If we're not going to make a profit, don't do the deal. And the answer is, how much is enough money to ask for? If we're too greedy, people won't pay the asking price. If we're not greedy enough, it doesn't justify the risk. And the balance, the minimum that you'd be willing to accept, or I would encourage you to be willing to accept, would be 10% of the buy price. And in this case, $30,000 as a profit. There are selling costs. Selling costs are usually 3% of the selling price, but mathematically that works out to about 4% of the buy price. So the art here, the point to notice here, is the difference between unrenovated to renovated, on the premise that you're not buying this in order to renovate and rent, but you are buying this in order to renovate and sell so that you can take the money as a deposit and go and buy something else, or amplify your money by reinvesting it into add value projects or reinvesting it into cash flow positive projects. We need to be able to sell it at 33% more than we bought it for. Now, that is an incredibly powerful relationship to know. Why? Because it helps you then in your buying and searching process. If you're looking to purchase a cosmetic renovation project where you buy it, buy ugly, make pretty, sell, profit, and move on, you have to look for a suburb where, again, you focus on the end product to figure out what you buy it for. So in this case, you would focus on a suburb where I can sell renovated properties for $400,000. And when I've found a suburb that can do that, I know I have to negotiate a buy price on an unrenovated property for $300,000. Now, how does that actually work, and where can I go to find these properties? Where do I find these suburbs? Where do I find these properties? The answer is quite simple. If we know the relationship between buying and selling price, then we know the relationship relative to median price in a suburb. And what we do is we look for buy prices, unrenovated properties, where the price is about 20% under the median price. And then over a period of time, when we do the reno, we want to be able to sell it at 10% above median price. Now, if I go back a little bit, I want you to notice, because this is a percentage relationship, it varies according to the buy price. So if I buy a $200,000 property, I need to sell it for 33% more, or 266. If I've got a $1 million property, I need to sell it at 33% more, or 1.33. And in that, then I can determine very clearly where I need to look, because I can determine the median price, whereby, again, buying underneath the median price by about 20% unrenovated properties, and selling renovated properties about 10% above. Now, we taught this to a gentleman who is in the results mentoring program. We taught this gentleman by name Adam. Now, Adam had done a couple of renos, and you saw earlier, Adam became financially free. Adam had the ability to become a full-time developer and quit his job. And he started this process by understanding how to do renos and understanding the set of numbers I've just taken you through. Now, he found this one for a 1920s, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, hacked up period feature home. And he found it with an asking price of $300,000. Already, we know how this is going to play out. We need to sell this for $400,000 in order to be able to make money on the deal. Now, he was able to negotiate a $10,000 discount on the purchase price and bought it for $290. He did no DIY because he's not a hands-on guy, not a hammers and nails guy. He's more of a guy that works into the management of others to do the work. So he engaged the right trades and made sure that they did what they needed to do to budget and on time. And he was able to sell this property for $459,000. And he made $73,000 in profit, 7 months, part-time, outside of hours. Now, the average income around this time is around about, again, $83,000, $85,000 a year. You can work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, 52 weeks of the year, maybe some holidays, and earn 83, or you can go 7 months part-time outside of hours and earn 73. What's more appealing? And quite frankly, if you want to live a different lifestyle, doing property, adding value, selling, enables you to have a different lifestyle, enables you to create a wealth that standard full-time jobs aren't able to do so. Think creatively, think differently, think entrepreneurially, and you are able then to make money out of property. Now, the way the process works to achieve that outcome is, in essence, an element of growth. Never stop learning and then build on what you learn. So the way it works is you start small. So if you have a look, your first deal, Adam's first deal, was a process of, I'm going to do a cosmetic renovation, and I made $70,000 on a budget of $30,000 as my intent, which is a brilliant outcome. On the back of that, then what do? Well, I then take on a slightly bigger project that allows me to make a slightly larger profit. And then I take the money from that and the money from that, and I invest it into another deal that allows me, again, lift the level of complexity, lift the size of the deal, and that allows you to build. So you build on skill, then you build on size, and ultimately you build on frequency, such that when you're at this sort of level, you are able to take on 2 deals simultaneously, do 2 renos at the same time, do renos in quick succession, or evolve into renovation, subdivision, build, and ultimately developments, if that's the path you want to take. Remember, the path you want to take is yours to determine. All right. Along that journey, though, is we taught Adam this process, and he's applied this process. And along that journey, the part of the skill development that you need to take on, and what we've taught you already today, is the ability to adapt and anticipate changes in the market. And if you're able to read the market and read the market well, and able to build your skills, size, and frequency of the deals you take on, you can create a financial independence for yourself that is beyond what you think is capable right now, perhaps. You see, Adam started out with a vision of, I just want to do renos better. And then with an evolution of skill development and a desire to want to grow into more, he took on a reno subdivide project and made $130,000. Then he took on a reno subdivide build project and made $170,000. And then at the same time, at the back end of that journey, he took on another reno subdivide build 2. Increase skill, increase complexity and size of deal, and then increase the frequencies of the deals that you take on. And on the back of that, he was able to make more than $600,000 part-time outside of hours of his full-time job. And on the back of that, he was able to quit. He was making more money out of his property than he was out of his full-time job, which enabled him to resign and then live a life as a full-time property investor, full-time developer. Now, again, I was mentoring and have and continue to mentor him. And the evolution that he's gone through to who he is now has changed significantly. And he's doing syndicated investing models, which on the back of the suggestions and the support we're able to provide him, offered in the direction to be able to do so confidently, but correctly, in such a way that everybody's protected. And he's making huge amounts of dollars out of it for not only himself, but for everybody involved in those projects. So it is an awesome outcome.